that's on here is Sportswear. Okay, Sportswear, if you're a transfer student, you might already have an account with another institution. We need to remake that for Whittier College. I will not have access to anything that's on there, so if you're like, I already have it, oh well, you're making a new one. We prefer you make it with your poet's email, okay? This is a hyperlink, so you can click on that, and then all the stuff that's under with the check marks on here is stuff that you'll do in the Sportswear account. So I'm gonna walk you through Sportswear. That way it looks familiar to you when the time comes for you to do it, which the earliest you can do is June 1st, okay? So going over to this is Sportswear. We also call it SWOL. That's more so what we call it. What you guys are going to do, your very first job is to scroll down on this side. You're going to click Athlete Parent, and you're going to click Join Sportswear. Okay? It's going to ask you a series of information when you do this. The first one is the school ID. And a lot of times I get emails, and you're like, what's the school ID? I don't have it. Yes, you do. It's on here. It's Poets. We see that on here? Okay, so you're going to make sure you read the checklist, not just have the checklist, and we're going to type in Poets. From there you click Next, and it'll ask you your personal information. This is what goes on to the account to get it set up. Once you click the Next and complete this part, that's all the information for there. It sends me an email saying you applied for an account. I have to then go approve that email. This is the second part where I get a lot of emails from kids. There's like 3 in the morning saying my account's not approved. Can you approve it? Can you approve it? Can you approve it? I am not approving your account at 3 a.m. I will though do it the first thing when I get into work the next day and approve your account. Okay. Other times people use like personal emails and they create 3 accounts for the same person. We don't want to do that. Just one account. If you forget your password or are having struggles, reach out at that point. But there's this lovely button right here that says reset password, or I forgot my password. Okay? So you're going to apply for your account. You get the email. The link in your email allows you to actually create your password. But this link is only live for, I believe, 24 or 48 hours, something like that. And so if you're not regularly checking your emails after I approve it, then the link goes dead. That's not a big deal. You don't need to email me at this point. What you're going to do is you're going to come back to the sign-in page. You're going to put your email that you applied for an account for, and you're just going to click reset password. And then you can do that. So that is the basis of SWOL. I have a different account, but this is my fake. I'm going to log into a fake one so you guys can see what it would look like. One second. Okay, so this is what your account is going to look like when you get in. On this very first part, it'll have the sheets that are being passed out to you right now. So it'll have a checklist that you can open, and then your physical form that you can open. On there, so this is the checklist that you're going to be able to open. Okay, so it's going to have all these things. So now that you've done step 1 where you've completed your application process, you're going to go into step 2 and start completing all the information in here. So under the My Info tab, we'll go there. Boom, My Info, loads. You're going to have to complete everything that's red. Okay, if it's red, it means it's required, and I will continue reaching out to you. You are not cleared until all the red is filled in. Okay, so this first tab is general information. Your ID is going to be your school ID, not your driver's license. Okay, your school ID, the 206 or whatever it is. Okay, if you're a multi-sport athlete, cool, feel free to put 2 down here, even though it's not red, put them both in there. It'll populate onto our emergency list later on. Otherwise, you're going to do your address information, your emergency information. That's your emergency contacts, as for if we were to have to call 911, who do you want me contacting in that moment. Your insurance information as well. The one thing I'll say on here is when you scroll down, there's 2 little red stars that are required. You have to upload both the front and back pictures of your insurance card on here. That'll help us populate it onto our emergency cards for, again, if something were to happen at a game or a practice and we have to call 911, we give it to them so it's right there. We don't have to be like, where's your bag, where's your insurance card, finding anything out like that, or getting in contact with a parent, figuring out last minute. It'll all be right here. So make sure you get it on there. It is red, it's just hard to see because they're little stars. Okay? You can add in medical alerts in here if you want. That stuff is not required. We have a different way of doing that. Just make sure you guys press save when you enter your information, otherwise you will end up doing it all over again. Okay? I'm going to press cancel right now because I didn't write anything in there. say, are you sure? Yes. Okay, next thing on your list. Next thing on our list is going to be med history. You're only going to have to do this one time, and you're hopefully 4 years here. This is basically your whole history of family medical stuff. If you ever had a broken bone or a surgical thing, you get the opportunity to put it in here. You put yes or no, and then it's not too helpful if you say yes, I had a heart problem, and you don't tell us what it was in the comments. So be a little bit descriptive in there, please. That would be awesome. Otherwise, we will end up following back up with you. But yeah, if you could just put it in right away, that would save us some good amount of time. So that's the medical history. Again, you only do that now, and then you'll be done after that. And then our last part is forms. And this is the heavy part of, I guess, the bulk part of the Sportswear account. And I have populated forms into here. These are all required with the exception of this ADHD one. You only have to do the ADHD reporting form if you are on medication for ADHD that is a banned substance through the NCAA. Why we have to do that, there's a lot that goes into the form. If you guys need the form because you know you're on medication for it, you can come to our table in the back and grab it. You'll take it to your doctor's appointment when you get the physical done. That way you can get the whole packet together. We need that just in case if you guys do make, postseason or we do a random drug screening, something like that, and you test positive for a drug that you're on for a certain reason. I have to file it within 24 hours. And if I don't have the packet ready, we're not getting that information in 24 hours, and that's going to cause some problems. So we want to have that ahead of time. Okay? Otherwise, all of this in here is basically just forms. You guys can read through them. There's one called medical examination and authorization. That one you are basically signing. You're okay with athletic training staff evaluating you, our fellows, the doctors, the residents that we have with us, our sports medicine physician, health center if we ever need them for something, all of that, you're saying it's okay for them to look at you and that we can discuss your case on an as-need basis for who's involved in it for second opinions and whatnot within our people at Whittier College. Okay? Insurance claims procedure is a form that you're signing stating that you agree to have primary insurance throughout the entire school year, but you're also aware we have secondary athletic insurance. That is in the incident that maybe you get a bigger injury, maybe we do call 911, get MRI, surgery type of thing. We have athletic insurance to where we will end up filing a claim through that to help out with the cost, but it does not work unless you have primary insurance. So that is what you're signing there, that you're aware that we can use it. This next one is on concussions. It lists all the signs and symptoms of concussions and also states you take on the liability of reporting any signs or symptoms you may have following, a mechanism of injury. And so read through that one, please. And then the medical release form, it gives you an opportunity to state who you would like your case to ever be talked about. I would just suggest it's the same people as your emergency contact info. Therefore, if a parent calls me and you're over 18 and you don't want it talked about, then I'm not talking to them because they're not on the form, right? I'll ask you again in a moment, but we always get kind of like a second idea there. So those are the forms that you're signing in here. Again, you find them in here. What you're going to do, and then the mental health screening questionnaire. When you guys want to do these, basically you're just going to click on one, you're going to open it with the button. It gives you an opportunity to type into there. 1 second, it'll load. You're going to type, you can scroll through it after you read the form, you can type in there, date it. If you're under 18 right now, you'll have to have a parent sign it as well, that's the blue part. Then when you're done, you don't just get to close out, you have to click the Save Validate button. After that, it's going to pop up with something at the top that says continue to signing. This is important because if you don't sign it, it's not completed. I need you to do that electronic signature, and legally in order to do that, you have to do the second part of it. So that's where you type your name in and then you click sign and submit. Okay? So a little bit complicated there, but you do that. It's the same thing for every form. Okay, the next thing that this area is for within SWOL is for you to upload your forms. So the two things that aren't in here is your physical and your sickle cell screening results. If you were born in California, you probably got it done at birth. That newborn screening fits just fine for us. You can call wherever you're born and get a copy of that. Otherwise, you're welcome to get it done again. And the way you're going to do that is through, let's see, hold It's through getting the physical. So one of the sheets that was passed out to you guys is the physical form. Why we printed that off for you is because on it says that a physical is, or a sickle cell screening is required. Hopefully, if you haven't already done it, but it's also on here if you lose your sheet, okay? So you can do the physical for incoming athletes. You want to make sure you're incoming. There we go. Incoming athletes, just because the returning athletes one doesn't have the sickle cell. We only need it once, okay? So make sure you take this physical form with you to your doctor's appointment so you can get everything on it done. If you don't get your hearing or vision done, something like that, we'll have to do it when you come back here. We can't accept it. We do not accept chiropractors or homeopathic medicine to do physicals. So that's against NCAA rules, so we have to go with, MDs, DOs, that type of thing. Which most people should have. They'll go through this. Again, sickle cell cannot be required. Years ago, they used to allow you to sign a waiver. They don't allow that anymore, but again, most of you probably got it done at birth. Make sure that they write that you are cleared for sports participation. If maybe you got a surgery and they say you're not cleared, give the reason, but then say like a PT clearance is allowed when you're done with physical therapy or something like that. That way we don't need a new physical, okay? The last part on here is that red part at the bottom that says you need a stamp. We've been getting a lot of physicals that were done via AI and not in person real. So you're getting a stamp on here now, okay? You're getting a stamp of the clinic. Every single clinic has a physical stamp that they do the paperwork with. Honestly, they do that most times instead of writing in this information. So please get that, and please make sure they circle which one they are, the MD, a DO, NP, PA, that type of thing. Because if it's not done by a medical provider, I can't accept it, and if they don't put their credentials on there, then I don't know who they are, right? So that's those things. I believe that is all the requirements for you before you guys get here. Hopefully this is done. I know Coach White just said you guys want to be ready to go by the 13th. I want this done before you get on campus. August 1st would be a great date to have all that done. That means when you guys come on campus, all we have to do is the on-campus things left, which means we would be ready to do your SCAT testing, which is a baseline concussion assessment. Hopefully health center requirements are done. You'd end up doing your counseling screening when you get on campus. Again, the things we have on campus once you get here, those are done. Okay? The last thing that's on this list, after we just went over step 2 right here. Sorry, I wasn't on this page. The last thing for us that you need to do before you come here is step 3, which is an impact test. This is one of 2 concussion baseline screenings that you guys do. This one is available via, at home. All you need is a computer, not a phone, a computer, a tablet, something like that. Hopefully it's a computer though. Takes somewhere between maybe 15 to 25 minutes. It will time out if you take too long, so if you're hitting that 30-minute range, it's probably just going to cancel on you. You're going to email me saying it crashed, it didn't crash, you took too long, which, that's okay, sometimes that happens. And then we just redo it, okay? Anyways, you're going to take this test. This is a link, so you can just click on it. When you're ready to take it, make sure you're in a quiet environment. The impact test is basically just a cognitive assessment that gets a good idea of where you're at in a non-stressful state, right? Hopefully in the summer you guys take it. That way if there was some sort of collision that you guys have, signs or symptoms of a head injury for, and we want to see where we're at compared to baseline, whether that's for a diagnosis reason or for a return to play reason, we have something to compare to. That's the same reason we do the in-person concussion screening, which is called a SCAT-6. So we have both of those, but this one is done at home on your computer, and you're just going to click on the link and it'll populate into there. If you're trying to do it by just looking it up online, it won't have our Whittier College code, which means I don't get the results of that. So don't do it by just looking it up online. Click our link, it has our code embedded into it. Anyone have questions? No? Okay, yeah, I would recommend you go, he asked where you can get your physicals done. I'd recommend you go to your primary care physician if you have one. Otherwise you can go to urgent cares. There's minute clinics at CVS, a lot of stop-in clinics. Urgent cares are good. We also have them available on campus with our health center. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
I know that with Kaiser, they do their repopulated one. Will that suffice, or can we bring both, or do they have to fill out?
The Kaiser one is fine. Kaiser gives their own physicals that they do. Just make sure just make sure you upload the full thing on there. Sometimes we only get one page of it. The other problem with Kaiser is if you're new and you haven't gotten a sickle cell screening, it's not on their physical. Oh, that's probably one thing I should mention. When you get sickle cell, I need the actual results. The physical saying yes, you got it, that it was drawn is not good enough. We need the actual results on file. And sometimes that gives you a number, and sometimes it just says you do not have sickle cell disease or trait, and sometimes it says you do type of thing. So make sure you get the actual results and upload it onto here. That's normally the only problem we run into with Kaiser.
Payton, is it also true that the impact results can be invalidated if you take it too fast?
Yeah, so the impact concussion screening has two caveats to it. If you click through it, it times you and it will flag you saying it's invalid. And if you go too slow and like maybe someone texts you and you start texting during that time because you got distracted and then you go back to it, it'll flag you for taking a break. So yeah, just give yourself a good 30 minutes without your phone or any noises. Sit down and do it for real. It's not one of those things where like it tells you how smart you are. That's not the purpose of it. It's simply a baseline. I have had a few years where student athletes tried to get perfect and they were taking pictures of, which shows you like squiggly shapes and whatnot. They're taking pictures of it that they're supposed to memorize, and then they have to think to go back and, well, it didn't flag them at that time because it didn't used to time them for taking too long. It does now. But those two individuals ended up on our concussion protocol, and we could not get them off concussion protocol because they were not returning to their baseline that they cheated on, because you take your post-injury one with us in our office. And so they ended up having to go to neurologists because that's in our concussion protocol of what to do when you're not returning to your baseline to get cleared. Turns out they literally still had the pictures on their phone of when they were cheating, and it turned into this big thing. Anyways, don't do that. It's really not necessary. It's just wherever you're at. No one looks at it beyond that. We just get the results. Sometimes we have to, like people with ADHD may have to retake it because attention, can go sideways. And so sometimes it takes a little bit longer on those, and we'll take it up to 3 tries before we get a average on there. And just double check with our team physician if we need to keep doing it or not. So that's the only caveat there. Thanks. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
medication name, milligrams, and how many times a day?
Coach Odin's asking about medications. We will do that in person. You can also edit it into your SWOL account if you're on medications. But yeah, all the info on the medications you're on if it's a habitual basis, not like ibuprofen. But if you're on an inhaler, or maybe you're allergic to something, or maybe you have a SSRI, something like that, we will ask in person and write it on, or have a one-on-one conversation on it, and if we need to do, other forms based off of that. Any other questions? No? Everyone got a form with the physical and the checklist on it? Cool. And then a reminder, if you lose your form, because I understand that may happen, a lot of you guys traveled here, it's in your SWOL account. They're pre-populated in your SWOL account, both of them. You can download the checklist again, which you'll need to do anyways because it has the link to impact on there, okay? You can't click the link on the paper in front of you. So you'll do that on your SWOL account, okay? Thank you.